for pain is to stop moving. And so what I will do with you guys here today is what our mantra has always been, is if I can make you feel better, you'll want to move more often, right? And so the strategies that I'm going to share with you today are going to be related to a particular task, but they're all designed to make you feel and move just a little bit better in that one particular task. And if I can do that today successfully and show you at some of our wizardry, we'll be able to make you feel like, hey, this is something I can do. It's simple, it's easy to remember, and it's grounded in scientific fact. The reason that we do some of these things is our way of doing it is to anchor to some of the science and make it as simple as possible for you. I can jump down tons of rabbit holes if you want to know all the nerdy stuff of why this stuff is happening. But today, what I'd like you to do is just to feel how you're currently feeling and connect with this movement. And then we're going to keep retesting it. And as we do it, you'll start to feel like, hey, this is something I can accomplish. This actually makes me feel a lot better. And when you do that, then you're going to be motivated to want to try to move more often. And so we say small doses, feeling better while moving more often is going to make you start to want to enjoy a lifestyle that involves movement.
Awesome. Thanks, John. Well, why don't we dive into something here? So like let's dive into a movement snack. So why don't you share a snack that someone could do while waiting for their kettle to boil or their website to load or for whatever in front of the TV while their favorite show is going on, commercials, whatever it might be, right? Maybe share a snack. Everybody can get up and do one with us if they'd like. You can put your camera on or off, doesn't matter. Important is that you just get up and move a little bit with Johnny, and he'll show you the power of what a tiny bit of movement can actually do and the impact it can have on your body. So Johnny, take it away.
Yeah, so one of the exercises that we'll do, or the movements that we'll do, is called a squat movement. Now, I'm not saying we're going to put a barbell on the back of your squat. I'm just going to say, by definition, a squat is a fold of the body. So it doesn't matter how far you go or how you travel, but what we are going to do is we're going to test yourself. So you're going to test how you feel, not test what you look like or test like if I'm doing it right or wrong. How do you feel when you fold your body? Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you some little tricks of the trade of how we make your body feel a little bit better as you're squatting. Okay, so you need to if you want to participate, you just need to stand up away from your chair, and we're just going to go vertical, so it's not going to take up a lot of space here. I'm going to move a few things so you can see me here. I'll move this down a little bit lower. Okay, so the first activity that we're going to do is you're just going to find a stance that's maybe a little bit wider than shoulder width apart. And all we're going to do is you're just going to fold. So put your hands out in front of you. Squat down like you're sitting down into a chair. And I want you to think about, what does that feel like in my hips? What's that feel like in my back? What's that feel like in my knees? Okay, we'll just do a few of those. Okay, get a sense of it. And then you can stop. Okay, now this is where the real tricks come in. We're going to show you how a simple little strategy that we call a rub and scrub is going to be used to help make the tissues feel a little bit better. So here's what I'd like you to do. We're going to start with your knee. If you're a fan of the Karate Kid, you're going to know this one. We're going to rub your hands together and you're going to place them on your knee. And I want you to rub up and down so that you're creating heat and friction on that knee. Press hard enough that you start to feel some heat there. And then you go to the front of the knee, the sides of the knee, and even behind the knee. Okay, we're only going to do one side. Okay, and then we're going to go back to your squat. So now you've done that one side. Go ahead and try your squat, and I'm sure you're going to feel better on that one side than the other. Okay, and if you felt a little bit better from there, great. We don't want to keep going without doing the other side, or you'll be walking in circles all day. So we're going to do the other side. We're going to scrub the sides, scrub the front of it. Okay, and then we're going to try your squat again. You should feel like, wow, my knees feel a little bit better. I feel like I can bend at the knee better. Okay. Now we're going to go to another spot on the body. One of these big joints that needs to move when you squat, and that's where the triangle bone, the sacrum of the pelvis, meets your lumbar spine. So you're going to take your knuckles, and you're just going to rub your lower back. You're scraping the skin on your lower back. Okay, and then go side to side. Great. Now we're going to come back and we're going to try our squat and see if that feels different at your back. I feel way better already. Just in those few spots. Okay, so this is what we call rub and scrub. Let's do one more spot because I really love this spot. If you slide your hands down the outside of your thighs, you'll feel like this little knob there. So it's kind of on the outside of the hips, below your belly button, on the femur bone. It's called the greater trochanter. You're going to take your knuckles and you're going to rake that bone. You're going up and down across that bone. And then we're going to go and we're going to try our squat again. We've done the knees, we've done the lumbar spine. Now we're going into a landmark for the hip and see if that improves your squat. Okay, very good. We're looking good, team. Okay, now we're going to do what we call a mobilizer. We're going to mobilize the hip capsules. Okay, so that's the inner part of the hip. I'd like you to take one leg further forward than the other. And from here, you're just going to slide your hips left to right. Sliding your hips left to right. Side to side. Okay, and then take the other foot, put the other one out in front, slide your hips left to right. There you go. Okay, now let's go test our squat again. You feel like you've got a little bit more freedom on the outside of the thigh. A little bit more freedom on the inside of the thigh. Okay, we're going back to the staggered stance now. I'm just going to rotate the trunk. Rotate the trunk. Okay, then the other side. Other foot forward. Rotate the trunk. Okay, then we try our squat. And every time I do this, I feel like I got a little bit more space in my hips. Good job. Okay, and then the last one we'll show you, we're going to go back to that first leg that's forward. And from here, we're going to hinge at the waist and then look up to the sky. Hinging at the waist, looking up to the sky. Okay, then we go to the other side. Hinge at the waist, look up to the sky. Okay, and then our last one, we just try a few more squats. And that's a tricky way for us to get a whole bunch of squats in, but also start to build confidence, not only in your ability, and start to rehearse that motor skill, but to teach the systems of the body, the nervous system, the connective tissue system, the muscular system, the joints, that it is safe to move in these patterns if we do it intelligently. And the cool part is in our programs, all you have to do is follow along with the coach. Press play on the video and just do what they do. We call it monkey see, monkey do. You just have to follow us. And we guide you, just like I just did, on all these little doses to improve your movement, your movement at specific joints that are related to a task. And then as we do that, you're going to be rehearsing the motor skills necessary in order to gain strength in the tissues, space in the joints, and get that nervous system to reconnect again, like when you used to always squat with your daily activities. Dan?
Thanks, Joe. And maybe if you could touch on really quick, like, and Melissa as well, because he co-developed this program, is why is it 21 weeks long? That seems long. But then just an add-on to that, like, why is consistency so important here, right? So like, and I think everybody knows sort of the answer to this, but what's sort of the 7 movements answer to this, John? And then how does it apply really clearly to fall prevention, Melissa?
So the reason why we did it 21 weeks long is that we've got 7 different skills that we want to improve on. Okay, so you're not going to work on only one skill over that time, but it's going to be layered over that period of time. However long it takes to learn a particular skill is dependent on each individual. Some people pick up on skills really quick and they learn them and they've rehearsed them and they've got them. For other people, those skills have laid dormant for a little while. And so the smaller doses added over time, remember, we're not throwing you into a full basketball practice. We're just giving you one little basketball that you got to practice shooting with, right? So that's only one tiny part of the game. And so when we layer these over time, what happens is the motor system is under less stress. It's easier for us to rehearse one little thing over little doses and get better at that particular skill than us to throw everything at you. And that's why going to the gym and doing a full class that has lots of things that you're trying to learn all at once and you're concerned about trying to do things correctly is that when we do little consistent bits with a low dose of stress to the system, the nervous system feels a whole lot better from it. And so we've layered it over time to do not only just to improve motor skill over time, but probably more importantly, to build behavior around rehearsing motor skills, right? So myself, I've been active, really, really active for all of my life, but I still have to rehearse certain skills that I haven't done in a while. And that takes me having to take a slow approach to it. If you asked me, hey, John, why don't you go out and run a marathon today? I would absolutely die. There's no possible way that I could run a marathon. I'm very physically active and I have the engine for it. Cardiovascular fitness I have for that, but I'm not skilled at running anymore. So that would take me a long time to slowly build it up so I don't injure myself. We take that same approach with all our programs.
Amazing. Thanks, John. And yeah, Melissa, like, why is this so important in a fall prevention context?
Well, the 21 week, for one thing, it takes on average about 60 days to build a habit. And the point of this program is really to make that consistency, like for the consistency part of this aspect, one of my favorite things about it is you get incentivized and you get cheered on by keeping a streak going. So on your app, on the program, it's keeping track of each time you open that app up and complete your exercise, your micro movements of the day. You're celebrated and it keeps score on how many times you've consistently logged in. So I do love that aspect of it. You've got that consistency, you're building a habit. And I talk about this often, it's the brain and body connection. So when my brain is feeling safe, doing just 7 minutes of Melissa's core stability exercise of the day, I'm now going to see a core stability exercise as, I've done that before, I'm familiar with it, and I'm confident doing it because I've already done it for 7 minutes. I followed Melissa's instructions, and it's not something brand new or it's not daunting to me. It's safe and it's familiar. So that's a good aspect of it. We went through a general description about the program, but I did want to outline that along with pretty, I would say, basic exercises like the squats and understanding and getting through the lunge together, I put so much time into planning and creating this routine so that you progress. So week 1, it's really focusing on like retraining and the gait and walking stability, feeling confident in your walk, in your steps, whether you're walking on ice or on a gravel road with big rocks. We go through a lot of that. And then we go into more specific topics, like we have a dedicated week for core stability. Then we get more into the standing balance and pelvic and lower chain strength. I'm even in towards the end of the program, we are getting up off the ground together, and I'm walking you through the safe steps to, you know, roll onto your side, pick a stronger side of the body, and how to slowly get up from the ground, because of course being able to get up from the ground is so important in both fall resiliency and just everyday life. Yeah.
Love it. Yeah, so let's move into the program itself. So what sort of got us really excited about hosting this workshop is, one, all of us here have delivered a number of workshops, some in fall prevention and some in other topics as it relates to fitness. And there's always a common denominator after this is like, what do I do now? Like, okay, I learned all this theory. It was great. And like, we all know to learn a new task, like, yeah, we can read the book. We can sort of like theorize how we could do it, but nothing beats practical application. And that's really what the program itself is all about. So Melissa, I'm going to go back to you after I go to John to kind of go through the program kind of like technically. But John, I wanted to get from you first, from a coaching perspective. What are some of the key things that are built into this program that participants will get from joining that they can't get from just watching a few YouTube videos online? So like, what kind of purpose have you built into this program from a coaching perspective?
Yeah, one of the things that we talk about from the coaching perspective is that idea of mirroring. So mirroring is, if somebody's on the other end, on the other side of the screen, and you mirror their movement, you tend to want to mirror at the same speed and tempo. So if you were to watch a video, try to remember it and then go replicate it on your own. The challenge with that is that you're making the assumption that your motor system is the same as the person on the video. So one of the things that we do, and what Melissa has done in such a beautiful way, is she's the model, she's the coach, and she's coaching, but she's also the person that is moving and delivering the skill, just like I was doing earlier. And that modeling of that particular movement is how we replicate it. It's why we do demonstrations, right? And so if I can mirror with somebody, that just enhances the mirror neurons in your brain that help to rewire and connect that pattern, and maybe help reconnect what once was there and in rehearsal now becomes connected again. So that's a big part of the coaching bit. The programming and how we laid it out was scaled so that, for one, you don't get bored working on the same skill all the time. So we're alternating different skills every day, but that rehearsal is really important, that you do it up to 7 times per day. And so if you're doing the same skill 7 times per day, and then we add another one the next day, then those two kind of get cross-linked together. And so now we're linking multiple skills together over time that now make it easier for you to be able to complete a particular task, such as if I am stepping off the curb and I lose my bearings or where my connection with the horizon is, my foot knows where to go to be able to plant there because I worked on a lunge pattern, right? And so my hip has the stability because I practiced being on one leg. So now I'm starting to build in these small little things that are in your brain that we call motor programs that connect to particular tasks in such a way that is easily reproducible, but it's also driven from this consistency of rehearsal in order to improve motor skill. We call it motor skill acquisition. And then after we get through acquisition, it becomes rehearsal, and then it becomes where it's just part of your motor program. It's something that you do all the time. One of the things that Melissa said that was really impactful was this idea of getting up from the ground. So that's a really important skill to learn, because some of the reasons why people fall is they don't have the skill or the practice of getting to the ground. So we're going to teach you how to get up from the ground. Most of neurodevelopmental locomotion starts on the ground and then we stand, right? You don't come out of the womb and start running, right? So there's a long period of time of neurodevelopment that happens that gives us the capacity to be able to walk and run, but it starts on the ground. And we use the ground and the ground reaction forces to stimulate parts of the body. So the first movement that you do in locomotion is not crawling, it's slithering, right? So when you're laying on your stomach and baby lifts their head up and they start to look around, when their head comes up and they look side to side, it's stimulating all the muscles to run down the back side of the head, along the erectors of the spine, and into the deep musculature of the hips. That becomes the starting point of developing enough stability in the spine that's going to aid you as you start walking. Then when we crawl, different things are happening. Then when we squat, you will squat before you stand, right? A baby's going to get into a deep squat before they ever stand up and learn how to walk. When they squat, that is them training their pelvic floor and developing the musculature in the pelvic floor. So it's all the reasons that why we put these movement skills in here is to enhance your capacity to be able to move and to be able to slow yourself down. The other cool part about starting on the ground is once I've started, I've got to repeat that repetition again. So now I have to rewind the VCR tape, just like we're going in slow motion, and get myself back down to the ground. So by way of rewinding the VCR tape and you mimicking that movement that you did on the way up and you do it on the way down is reinforcing that motor skill. So those ground to standing patterns are really important. We do them in a variety of different ways. And then as you get more skilled at it, then we have multiple ways of being able to get up. But falls prevention is being able to get to the ground safely. So teaching you how to lower and decelerate against the force of gravity bringing you down, or your momentum plus gravity getting to the ground. So those are some of the reasons why we built the program the way we did, and specifically around that rehearsal of those particular skills.
Thanks, Johnny. Yeah, Melissa, why don't you give the kind of the more practical how this works and what people could expect if they wanted to participate in our fall resiliency program?
Yeah. I really enjoy when John's talking about movement like that. It's just fascinating. It's fascinating how we revert, and it's so connected, the way we learn how to move and stand up as babies, and how this all comes back into play when we are going through different segments of our growth patterns and learning how to not fall. Because not only am I teaching you how to get up from the ground in this program, but we also spend a fair amount of time getting down safely. And I'm going to let you guys all take something really important away out of this webinar. And that is, when or if you are in a situation and you're about to fall, and it happens really fast, so it's hard to keep this in mind and remember what to do when you are falling. But we have this instinct to throw our hands out in front of us and lock the elbows and catch ourselves that way. And something that I can't express enough in all of my presentations is actually to let your body kind of fall down, like unwind, untense, don't be tense, loosen up and bend the knees and get down closer to the ground when you're falling, instead of falling straight out and locked in. I always try to make sure when I'm talking about fall prevention that this is a key to think about. If you feel unstable or you trip, then bending those knees and going down with more surface area hitting the ground rather than just one or two arms or joints. It just works better. It's going to prevent injuries from being worse than they can be, as a general speaking. But back to the program. So it's set up so that you get a daily dose. And now the 7 Movements platform is free to get. You can register, you can sign up and see what they have available, which is their regular program that John has pre-recorded. And that gives you a good taste of what this microdosing of movement is. And you can also toggle each day when you log into your platform, you'll say how you're feeling. You guys used a specific word for it. You kind of enter your energy level or how you're, what is it?
We call it a readiness score.
Readiness score, yeah, which is so great. So each day it's catered towards your readiness score. on based off how you're feeling that day. If you're feeling a little bit lower energy, you're going to get something that's a little bit easier for you. And that's what's so great about 7 movements is they've catered it to make you enjoy it. But my program is a little bit separate, and this fall resiliency is going to administer 1 dose a day that is 7 minutes long. You can play it up to 4. We recommend up to 4 times a day. And it unlocks all the other daily doses as well. So you have access to the entire library of specific movements. We go through an entire 21-week series of specific movements and how they flow through with progressions. And besides just that, it's really, I could teach you through YouTube, or you can look up on YouTube, you know, what are the exercises for fall prevention, or what can I do to stay resilient from falls? And I encourage anybody to go and do that and do your research. But really, this program is designed so that you build skill, because we can't be resilient without practicing and re-enduring and taking those balance risks and putting our bodies in challenging positions while staying safe. That truly is what builds the skill and builds the resilience for us. So we put some close work into designing this program so that it does exactly that.
Thanks, Melissa. So I think what people can expect if you do decide to purchase the program, one thing that you can know about what we've done at 7 Movements is all our programs are just for sale now. We're not a subscription, so there's no recurring cost to this. You just buy the program and you have it forever. So this 21-week program is really interesting in the sense that when you get your app, you just get 1 7-minute video each day and you follow along. It's pretty simple and uncomplicated. So what I'm going to do for everyone who attended here today, we're going to send out an email after this with the recording of the webinar. It'll have the links to the program. We've got a special code for everybody who registered for the for this workshop if they'd like to purchase the program. If you are an existing 7 Movements user, and I see a few people here that you've been a member of ours in the past, you should have access to this program already. If you don't and you want access, just email me, because there's just something I need to toggle on in your account. So if you're already a member, we'll just give you access to the program because you've been with us from the beginning. If you're trying to purchase a new program, you'll get that link here. Actually, I'll drop it in the chat, but don't worry about if you miss this in the chat. There's going to be an email that comes out later tonight with all of the information, including a recording of this. If you know anybody who'd benefit from this, please share it with them. We're going to put all of our various contacts in that email. So if they want to reach out and learn a little bit more about fall prevention in particular, Melissa is a great person to contact. If you want to learn more about movement snacking and all the other programs that we have on there, never hesitate to reach out to me or John. We have programs for folks with Parkinson's disease right through to people who want to play pickleball. We have got a pickleball program that's been very popular this past fall, trying to keep people from getting injured on the pickleball courts. So yeah, thank you for attending. If there's any questions, we still have 10 minutes here with these 2 brilliant minds. If you have any questions, please drop them in the chat. We'll get to them right away. I'm just going to scroll up in the chat in case I missed anything as this was going on. But yeah, drop them in here if you want to learn a little bit more about movement snacking. You want John to explain a little bit more about what's going on. One thing that wasn't mentioned is our work with University of British Columbia and McMaster University. We're pretty heavily involved in research of our movement snacking protocols for these folks. So you can be confident in the science that is sort of backing what we're talking about here as far as movement snacking. Because one of the big pushbacks that we obviously get sometimes is like, is 7 minutes really enough movement? And hopefully you got up and moved with John and experienced that, yes, in fact, it actually made me feel good and I feel better and made me want to move more. which is the entire point that we do this structured movement in order to go out and then do the activities we actually love doing, because a lot of us are not necessarily in love with the gym like John there, who just hangs out there all day in South Florida. John, any final words?
Yeah, thank you. I hope you guys enjoyed it so far, and would love to see you in our community and getting involved with us and reaching out to us and ask us all kinds of questions. We're always available for you. Our goal is to inspire the world to move again. And so in doing that, it takes a large community. This is not something that a few of us can do. We want to change the way that the fitness industry even looks at how we prescribe exercise. And that is that we get away from this idea of it having to be mega doses of movement to be effective. So that's why we partner with research, our research partners at UBC and McMaster. We got two of the most reputably amazing investigators at the university level in Canada. These guys are world-renowned exercise physiologists that work with us. And we're really trying to push the narrative that health is something that you can take back and have power over by us changing the way that we prescribe movement as medicine. So that requires our whole community to be involved. And we have some of our health leaders here on this call today. I saw Patricia is there. Where are you at? Oh, hey, Patricia, you're there. And is Beth here? Maybe she left.
Aaron's here as a health leader. So yeah, there's a lot of them. We're having another health leader training on October 8th. You can find a lot of this information on our website. Fran did ask a question about, she was unclear about like what's free and what you need to buy. So we have a standard program at 7 Movements that's free for everybody. So if you go to the 7 Movements website, you can say try it for free. You'll go there. You can get a daily dose of movement, absolutely free. Download the app. You can use it. Encourage everyone you know to go do that because it's free. Melissa's program, the fall prevention program, that's the one that you buy and add on to what you're already doing. So hopefully that clears up. If you have any questions, just let me know. And I think I saw a hand go up. Did somebody want to pop on and ask a question?
I think that was Nancy, but I think it might have just been a little mistake.
Just a little one of these, yeah.
Hey, we do it all the time. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining. Just like it really made my heart so happy to see this many people attending our call today. And it's whoever commented there, Chan is right. No exaggeration that this is life-changing and quality of life enhancing. That's exactly what we want to be doing. So thank you for supporting and for listening to our email newsletters that go out and subscribing. You guys are helping us do this work. So thank you.
And I want to personally thank Melissa for being such an amazing partner. She's outstanding. She does terrific work. Please connect with her, find out what she's doing. Not only just with 7 Movements, we've got lots of work ahead of us that she doesn't even know about that we're going to be getting her involved in. So thank you so much, Melissa, for being our partner in this. You're amazing. We love having you as a part of the team.
Thank you so much. I like being part of it too.
All right, let's get up and all go for a walk now. Everybody have a great rest of your day, and hopefully we'll see you soon on one of our future workshops. Take care.
Thank you, everybody. Bye. Bye, guys.
After Mishokushi passed away in 2014, he was a legend, and he was the person, more like the father of macrobiotics, who helped bring it over to the United States in the 1950s. But I went there and I studied, not just studied, but I lived there for a period of time to really embody this diet and force myself to eat this food and learn to eat this food. So even if it was just a few bites of something, at least whatever I got into me, I felt like my body was getting used to it day in and day and forth. But anyway, I came back from that Way to Health program, which I think was like 12 days at the time. And whatever little symptoms I had stopped. And then a month later, I came home and I was doing this as much as possible. And I was jumping out of bed in the morning. And if anyone knows me, I am not a morning person at all. So, I was very fit. I was a dancer, but at 6 o'clock in the morning, but here I am at 6 o'clock in the morning going, I think I'm doing Pilates today. So,
Good for you.
what is wrong with me? I've never felt like this. So this just yeah, my cat here. So she's the secret guest audience. So um, this just amplified me wanting to tell the world, I have to tell you what I'm learning because this is amazing and I feel so amazing. So what did I do like any average person was? I'm like, I'm going to compete in the Miss America pageant.
Go for it, girl. Set those sights high.
So I started out with local competitions. I competed with Miss Staten Island. I ended up placing first runner-up Miss Staten Island, and then I did the sweeper pageant where all the first runner-ups competed against each other across the state. I won that one.
All right.
And then went to Miss New York State. I ended up placing top 10. I did this whole again next year too, and also won another local title, went to Miss New York, placed top 10 again. Never quite, at that point I aged out because, you're really old at the age of 24.
You're so old. You're so over the hill. It's all downhill from 24.
It's just all downhill. So, but, they advertise this as a scholarship pageant, so by that time, you're supposed to be out of college. But it was a wonderful experience. It gave me a voice. It gave me a platform to get up in front of people with my little crown and with my swimsuit talking about Crohn's and colitis and your bowel movements.
Was that awkward? I mean, so here you are in the swimsuit and you're talking about bathroom goings on.
Yeah, I mean, we try to avoid specific details, but just being, I remember being a speaker at the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation of America. I was on the board for their walk in New York at the time. They all know what you're going through. So that was an organization that I supported. You have to do what you do. I was just so proud to be there.
Absolutely.
And I at that point I stopped my medication as well. I mean, it took the time, but I weaned off whatever they had given me as like a staple medicine. And I was just, okay, I'm going to live my life. But being the ambitious, 20 something year old in New York City, I went for the highest of stressful jobs and, the things that really, I pushed my boundaries a little bit, because why not?
Yeah. I think that's kind of your nature though. Like you did something that was like a lot of people would consider extreme, going on the macrobiotic.
Yeah.
You, like competitive dancer, trying to make Miss America. Like those are not easy things. So easy seems boring to you, I'm guessing, right? You just do not take the path of least resistance. You want to run through as many walls as possible.
Run into the fire.
Yeah.
If you get burned, well, I learned my lesson, I think I took that platform and also said, well, whatever mistakes that I made, I talked about to people, especially young women, or just young teenagers at that time, to say, well, I already did that for you, so you don't have to do that. I figured that out. I figured there has to be some reason why I'm given this hurdle to overcome. And I knew that it was to help others. I knew that it was to inspire others. And even if it was just one person whose life I can change, I knew that was like, I saw that becoming my mission in life. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I love that. All right. So you take this ultra stressful job. You're at the old age of 24, maybe 25 at this point. What begins to happen? So you've reclaimed your health, but I'm waiting for another shoe to drop, perhaps.
Yeah. So I had a lot of good years. I ended up working for New York City Ballet for almost 8 years, on and off. I ended up running their events.
Nice.
It was amazing. That was a stressful job. You're dealing with 60 plus hours a week. You're dealing with a lot of high end clients, celebrities. Just you have to be perfect. And I remember my boss who hired me had said, there was a lot of people who applied for this job. And do you know why I hired you? I'll never forget this. And I was like, I hope I was qualified. And he's like, no, you were very qualified. She's like, but also you had the ability to juggle a lot of things at the same time. And like you said, she saw in me the ability that I didn't just want a job. I wanted to do the pageants. I wanted to fundraise for the pageants. I wanted to like start my own organization. I wanted to do all these things. And that